Welcome to Rectory Ramblings for the second Sunday of Easter, otherwise known as
Divine Mercy Sunday.
Divine Mercy Sunday. Yeah, what do you know about St. Faustina?
A couple things. She has a diary out there that's well worth reading. I know
Yes,
that.
very much so.
I've read bits and pieces of it, not the whole thing.
Well, guess we both need to get on that.
Yeah, I own it. I have that much going for me.
I don't know if it's on my bookshelf or not. I've got a lot of books in my office.
A lot of unread books.
A lot of unread books, yes. This is true. Some great readings. I once told my maintenance person, not here at Mapleton, but I told my maintenance person that he could hear confessions.
Did you?
Yeah. So.
Did you get in trouble for that too, or?
So no, I told him that he could hear confessions if anyone wanted to go to him, but he couldn't give absolution.
Oh yeah, there's always a kicker at the end there.
Yes.
Yep.
He was pretty happy about that, but I don't think anyone went to him.
Nobody went for it, huh?
Yeah, no one went for that. So in the gospel today, Jesus reiterates that whatever the apostles hold bound on earth will be bound in heaven, whether they loose on earth will be loosed in heaven, which is a promise originally given to St. Peter in Matthew 16. What Jesus first promised Peter is now extended to all the apostles, and our bishops are the successors of the apostles, and that's one of the gifts that have been given to them, and then they give that gift to their priests. It is a faculty that we priests have, which could be revoked, I guess.
So as I was reading the first reading, when I got to the end of it, I felt like it should have said, "And then they lived happily ever after," because it pretty much just highlighted like the perfect world of Christian living and evangelization. As a matter of fact, I want to read the first couple lines of the first reading here. They devoted themselves to the teaching of the apostles and to the communal life, to the breaking of the bread and to the prayers. So they devoted themselves simply to teaching one another the ways of the Christian life, the model of Jesus. Point they called the movement the way back then.
Yeah, I
right?
don't think they were called Christians yet, but I thought it was interesting that they devoted themselves to the teachings of the apostles as opposed to like the teachings of Christ.
Right.
The teachings of the apostles, and just again the acknowledgement right from the beginning that Christ passed all the truth on to the apostles, and the apostles received that deposit of faith, and that not that we don't look to Christ, but that Christ entrusted the whole truth to the apostles. People could look to the apostles, for the teachings of Christ.
They enjoyed a communal life so much so that when somebody sold something, a possession, they split it evenly or according to the needs of the community. So I thought that was really cool, because I think even from the onset of the COVID-19 coming out, the virus striking, we saw a lot of that, like people trying to help out wherever they can, those who had plenty giving to those in need. And
today I was reading that some of the top tier tennis players were trying to raise money to help some of the tennis players at the bottom of the league, because in tennis you only make the money that you win, and so the lower tier players weren't making enough to sustain just kind of their life, and so some of the top tier players are trying to raise funds for the lower tier. So that's kind of what you're talking about, examples of what you talk about. So.
Yeah, seeing a lot of that happening. And then the very last line, "And every day the Lord added to their number those who were being saved." And I really like that. It's like that heavy commitment to the teachings of the apostles, to the teachings of Christ, and to living a good Christian communal lifestyle is rewarded in the end. We see that, and we move so far away from it now that it seems like a fairy tale, but I think with these efforts of the new evangelization, we're kind of inching back toward that vision. So don't lose hope in that.
Continue the Easter joy.
Right. Continually selling out to that idea of just giving our extra, both monetarily and just like our time, to other people, to the church, will pay off in the end. Will have great dividends.
So the life, the way that they lived in community was so radical that people saw something different in the Christians,
Right.
and wanted to join them, and so hence the adding to the number, and so that's a call to us to live radically day in and day out, maybe even moment in, moment out. And how do we live radically enough that people say, like, there's something different about you. There's something different about you Christians. I want that joy and that peace that you have. And so how do we be instruments of Christ's peace and joy in the world in such a way that it seems radical, it seems different than what
Right.
the world seems to offer.
And sometimes even just outing yourself as a Catholic these days is radically different from the norm. So, but I think in this time too, it might be a good opportunity that we've spoken about before to look for a new way to maybe incorporate a little bit more prayer into your day. Maybe you're kind of kicking yourself because you watched one of the earlier videos where we made those suggestions and you haven't done it yet. It's kind of like when you get to the like last week of Lent and you realize you haven't really been giving up what you thought you'd be giving up.
Yeah.
It's not too late. You
Not
can
too late.
start now. Add a little bit more silence into your day if that's possible. If not, add a little bit more of a devotional maybe into your day, just to continually having that reminder in front of you that you are a Christian and Jesus Christ is the truth, the way, and the life.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, thank you, and God bless.
God bless you. And then they lived happily ever after. Yes. Yeah. I'm sure that'll pop up as a graphic now at the end of the film. That's great.